carved out that they couldn't see that this was a cemetery because there was all type of headstones and grave markers.
This is the first tort of grave desecration in West Virginia, or anywhere else for that matter. It was obvious that a bulldozer had destroyed the cemetery. Even years later, you could see the bulldozer track right through the middle of the cemetery, and there were gravestones to either side of it. There were broken headstones. The racism that I met in that holler was just shocking. The defendants told the mediator that there was no way we were going to get a verdict for black people in Logan County. I think that while in most of society today, use of racial slurs is frowned upon, in an area where it's not frowned upon, it would be a big mistake to make that the heart of your trial strategy. What I did was we made the case about the right of burial, the right of Christian burial. Along the way, we had to go to the Supreme Court of West Virginia. They defined the tort of grave desecration. The decedent needed to have a right to be buried in that place. And we proved it by proving the existence and the operation of the company town. You lived in the company town, you worked in the company mine, you died in the company town, and you were buried in the company graveyard. And this company graveyard, because it was the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, was segregated, and this was the African American graveyard. The defendants denied there was any right to bury these people. So we eventually defeated that argument by the coal company culture and by finding the men who actually dug the graves. The really great thing about this case were the clients. You had 14 elderly African Americans who had grown up in a coal camp in pretty horrible conditions. And it was nice to see that these elderly people, when they got together, they were like kids again. And it was an awful thing that happened to their family, but it was a beautiful thing how they gathered together as a group, and they stood up and they fought a multi-billion-dollar publicly traded company, and they beat them. And I think that's a great lesson.